John Campbell here with the market report from yesterday, Tuesday at Winter Livestock, LaJunta, the handle 840 cattle. Starting to see a few calves show up, and they'd be trading steady, strong. Did have a load of 800 weight steers, weighed a little on top of 8, that brought close to 139. But the big news out in the market is these butcher cows and bulls. And folks, I'm telling you, they'd be a ton lower, 5 to 10 on the downside. I thought yesterday a lot of the cows back just bringing in the 60s, and bulls that were all bringing past $1 last week took a pretty good one to bring up in the 90s. We've got a little moisture around, so it ought to slow the pairs down some, but we did have a couple hundred stock cow pairs yesterday. Some young cows, they had big calves on them, up to 1750, and their solid mouth sisters at 16 and a quarter. I know a lot of people that follow us here. You have a lot of frustration with the dynamics politically going on in your state, and you're really disgusted. But before you throw rocks at your own state too awful much, boy, take a look at what's going on here in Colorado. Our governor has just appointed a lady named Ellen Kistler to the State Board of Veterinarian Medicine. Now, this lady, by her own admittance, is a extreme vegan, and she's a bird breeder. And she's taken the post down now, but it's well documented. Here's a lady that thinks the 4-H program does nothing more than teach kids that animals' lives do not matter. And folks, if you are a moderate Democrat, I'm appealing to you, not the ones that have already out there way left field, but I know you're out there. And folks, if this is the agenda that you're wanting to put forward, you've got a governor that says if you don't wear a mask, you're a selfish bastard, and then is appointing people on boards that are slamming the 4-H program. And you've just selected a vice president running mate that thinks animal agriculture is destroying the planet, and nobody should have the right to own a gun or a firearm. If you like that, and that's the agenda you want to follow, and that's the one they're pushing, why, you've saddled up the right ponies to ride. But, folks, in case you're not, I would ask you really have to reconsider who we've got as a governor, and who your party is pushing to the front as a president and vice presidential nominee. I don't want to end on a downer. Years ago, I was selected to be on a committee that was going to deal with euthanasia of animals, non-ambulatory animals at a livestock auction. And there were several of us on this committee, veterinarians, and we had the horse authority lady was there, and that's a whole nother subject I'll touch on one of these days. But she was very concerned about how do you euthanize an ostrich. And I used to work for a veterinarian up in Weld County, northern Colorado, when I was growing up, and his son was on the committee, and he never missed a beat, jumped up, grabbed both his hands like he had him by the throat, and swung around his head about 3 times. He said, "Honey, it ain't that hard once you get them airborne." I'll talk to you next week.